Hello and welcome back to Your Story is Your Portal. And I have got one of my favorite people, Megan.
Thank you so much for having me. Dressed a little differently this time.
That's because
more
you're
layers.
in a place, right?
Yes.
Where are you?
I am in Calgary right now, and it's like -10, I want to say, Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. Close to zero, I'm going to say.
It's really, really cold.
It's very cold. There's snow out on the ground. All the trees are this like beautiful white and like so nice. I like the winter.
Wow.
It's a little chilly.
But you will be coming to Mexico again pretty soon.
Yeah, just in a couple weeks' time. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've got some really, 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 really exciting news to tell everybody. And it's something that Megan and I are super, 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 super interested in. And, you know, the title of this podcast is Your Story is Your Portal. And that's all about us sharing stories, because it's only stories that help us understand anything, really. We learn from stories. That's what we learn from. We learn from stories. I mean, yeah, you can learn, from textbooks or whatever, but it's the stories that have real impact. Because when you hear other people's stories, you then say, oh, okay, well, if she did that, then I can do that. So a project that Megan and I are working on, which we're really, really excited to tell people about and to invite to be part of the project, is the A to Z of healing. Because, we have very narrow minds when it comes to how we can heal ourselves. There are so many other ways that we can heal ourselves. And we really want to help you understand all those different ways by giving the A to Z of all of these stories. So, Megan, wow. Tell us all about it.
Oh my gosh. It pinched me for a minute because it feels so surreal. It's just transpired in the last couple of days. This is all this has been in the works for a while. This is a continuation of my current first work of the book that will get your brain going, get your healing going in a different direction. And then this next book is going to be stories of people that have actually used these other healing modalities where they've experienced real, true healing. Like true to the core, changed your life, full free. Like, what does that even mean? Like, how do we get people to know that there's something else out there? And this is the project for that. There's so many things that we can learn, and there's so many good modalities, including Western medicine. And we're not knocking any type of healthcare that is available to us humans, because this is the coolest thing about humans. We are so creative. And now we've realized that we have all of these wonderful healing modalities that exist across a pan of whatever you might need is out there. But how do we bring it all in together so that everyone is able to access all of the things? You have this ailment, you've got a cancer, a dementia, whatever you happen to have. Here's a list of things that you can go to do. This book is the first of its kind that I'm aware of anyways, where we will literally list out the people and experiences and the types of healing modalities that have existed for years. And all of this information is information that is out there. And humans have used these healing modalities for thousands of years. For as long as we've existed as a human being, these healing modalities have listed. This is plant medicine. This is energy healing. The things that take us back to our core aspects of the humanness of ourselves. And don't get me wrong, there is something special about Western medicine. I've literally seen with my own two eyeballs right here, people being saved. I've seen miracles with my own eyes with the brilliant, life-saving things that Western medicine has brought to us as a human species. Do not get me wrong. Love that. And there's a time and place. And I also have seen with my own two eyeballs that there's so many people in that system, and a few of them maybe don't need to be there. Going through my own health scare, taking medications that my patients are on, and seeing them succumb to the side effects of these medications, I could have ended up there. And because I chose something different, this is the book to showcase what it means to choose something different. And that walking the other walk and walking the less beaten path where you actually have to bushwhack a little. We did the bushwhacking for you. We found all of the other healing modalities, and now we're putting it in a nice little package that's going to be like a beautiful little book that's going to just someone can come home to, and to know that, if there's only one option that you're given, that's not enough. That is not an informed decision if you're only given one option. This is a book for people who want 26 other options, because 26 and then some, thousands of other modalities. We haven't decided how many volumes are going to exist for this book yet, but we'll see. It will come up and it will be incredible. And I'm so excited to share with the world and bring together the true healing modalities that work, the things that we've experienced ourselves. And everything in this book is something that we've tried ourselves, that we have gone through and experienced for ourselves. We will not put anything in the world that we haven't gone through ourselves. So know that everything has been tried by us. We've done it. If it's in here, it's because we've done it and it works.
And that is the magical thing, right? Because we're not going to be talking theories in this book, and we're not going to be talking, textbook. We're talking about real stories of real healing of real people. What we should tell the viewers, for the people that haven't seen the previous episode that we did together, Megan, is that Megan has been a nurse for 20 years. And so the things that she's talking about, the things that she's seen in her hospital, are the things that have really made her say, there is more options out here, out in the world, that we are not using. We are not using the full spectrum of healing modalities that are available to us. And so this is real experience. So not only are we in this podcast episode, not only are we making you aware of this is what's available, but we're also doing a call out and saying, okay, if you have your own experience of healing using a different modality, we also want you to be in this book. So it's also a call out for even more stories, because like Megan says, there are so many examples of people that are healing themselves in different ways. For example, do you want to give some examples, Megan? Give some examples of some of the types of healing modalities that we're going to feature in this book.
All right. Well, let's start with yourself. For you, Miss Julie, how something I've never even heard of. The name actually is like, what? But it's an actual thing that exists out in the world. And I did not know that until the word came out of your mouth. And it's called Feldenkrais. So our lovely Miss Julie here, part of the story, her entire story of why she's sitting here today, is she was told that she wouldn't be able to walk without having this intense operation, which involved removing her spine and putting 2 steel rods into her back that would now be her back for the rest of her life. She would never, ever be able to bend down. She would always have chronic pain, and that was her only option for moving forward and her being able to walk. Now, ma'am, tell me how many hours you spent on the operating room table? None. Tell me how much you walk and dance and do all the things now these days because of not just one Feldenkrais session. Like, are you kidding me? To me, my brain explodes with hope hearing that story. So, Feldenkrais, there's one of them. We've also got Reiki. I can't even tell you what Reiki has done for my life to change your energy, just your energy. Everything is energy. Thoughts are energy. We're all connected. There's something to be said about balancing our energy. A simple, deep breath balances your energy. These are things that have been used for 3, 5, how many thousands of years for humans, and it's coming back in now. And we have stories for that. We have stories about people using things like timeline therapy, using changing your brain, changing your thinking, we have another author who has completely cured herself of her cancer using she had it cut out, but the only thing she accepted of the Western medicine healing protocol that was given to her was that they would cut out the tumor, and she used hypnosis only to have that tumor excised from her leg. Unbelievable. Incredible to me that that exists out there, and that is someone else's story, and that they stood in their power enough to go and walk that path. And this is the path that we're sharing. And we are making all of these stories relatable to people out there. You know, you're sitting there with a laundry list of pills going, I don't know what the heck to do next. Like, how do I get out of this? Like, there's no other option. My doc said there's no other option. Well, listen, there's people that have come to Mexico to clinics there that have walked away healed when they've been told to get their affairs in order. Yeah. And so I believe now, and as a nurse, being in the system for 20 years, that we're not allowed to see all of the information that exists in the world. Why is it that my patients are not allowed to take their supplements from their naturopath as soon as they walk into the Western medicine establishment? You need to be in the hospital for anything. You can't take your supplements. What? My brain, it hurts. And so my intention from here on out, knowing these things and knowing what I have healed myself with and what I have to give my patients to heal themselves with, and that it doesn't line up. And I'm here to say that there's other things out there.
You know, I like this. We're both so passionate about this topic. And there are so many things that we really, really want to share with you. And but we also want to hear your stories, because this is how people learn. They learn from stories. You know, like when I tell my story and I tell people that I was flat on my back for 2 months. I was told that I would not walk again. I was told that I had to have my 5 vertebrae removed. And it would take me 12 months to learn how to walk again. And I said, that's not an option. That's not an option. And we were just talking just now, Megan, that's sort of like that key point, isn't it? When you get to that point and you go, no, that's not an option. And that's when you're now opening the field of possibilities. And what we are going to be showing you through this book is these are all the possibilities that are available to you. Because, you know, all that knowledge is out there. Like you say, most of this has been around for like hundreds, thousands of years. It's just that we don't know where to find it. So we're bringing it all together in one book, which, as Megan says, will end up probably being a number of books, because once we start to put the call out for, we want your stories, we know that we can then keep sharing and keep sharing and keep sharing. And Megan, you got on this journey yourself through your own story of what happened in the hospital, right? So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I had a similar situation to you where I was actually working, it was July of 2020, so we're knee deep in the pandemic, and I was working with very sick COVID patients. And I was, I guess with everything going on, I had stress and all the things, and I ended up with a arthritis in my hands that it was like inflammation. And they wanted to give me a drug called methotrexate that is also used in conjunction with chemotherapy. It basically wipes out your immune system. It's an immune system killing drug, and it would allow like chemotherapy to come in and kill the cancer if someone has that. And for my situation, the hope was that my immune system would be wiped out, and then it would pick itself back up without whatever was causing the arthritis, the antibody towards something that it wasn't supposed to be doing. And so I was like, yeah, that's a hard no for me. There's absolutely no way that I can have no immune system taking care of the sickest people in like the entire southern of Calgary, southern Alberta. Like, I just could not even put myself in that situation. Because my thought was, how can I put myself in a situation where I won't be able to work? Like, I obviously have to work and pay my bills. And so I thought, well, I have to stay healthy. And so I would look for something else. And after using that something else, which I went to a naturopath, and she put me on a supplementation, like a regimen of supplements, including garlic, oregano. And it sounds so like, what? That doesn't help. No, but it did. No, but it actually did. And once I went through it, and I went through all of this stuff and going through and learning eventually to change my brain and how your brain actually impacts and creates those storms in your body, that your body is actually yelling at you to change something in your thinking. And so I learned all of these things. And now I've also learned that, come full circle, that what I was doing as a nurse, providing the same medications that I am refusing as a human being to other people and telling them it would help them, knowing it full well it doesn't help me, that conflict of interest now has me sitting in this chair writing a book with Julie. And to show, because, you know, it's about the humanness of the world and people being allowed to know all of the information that exists in this world. Knowledge equals power. And to give people the knowledge that something else out there exists, and like, here's 11 more ways that you can use to possibly heal yourself. Have you considered this? Have you considered that? There are beautiful things out there. There are beautiful stories of people healing when they were told that nothing else would happen, when nothing else would heal them from a Western medicine doctor. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying anything is wrong with Western medicine. It's just not the full picture. And unfortunately, it's not the full picture. And that's what I want to bring into this world, is the full picture of everything that exists out there. As we as humans are brilliant. We know things, and we're good at bringing things together and like coming together with more information and going even farther than we were before. Dude, I related to someone learned enough to turn on a light. We can go over there and I can turn the light on in this room because someone else decided, nah. So that's my job here now. I'm like, nah, that's not enough. We need more. This world needs more. Humans need more. There is more. And I intend to bring it into the general population's earballs of, this is what we're doing. This is how we heal humans. And it starts with ourselves and empowering ourselves to know that we can heal. It's the simplest thing that I could explain all day long, that just knowing that we can heal.
Yes.
And it's that knowing that we can heal, that when we're given a diagnosis, that we don't have to accept it, and that we know that we can heal. Well, that pill is not going to allow me to heal. That's going to allow me to take 7 more pills down the road. And so how can I actually heal? That is possible. Okay, where do I go from here? This book.
And that's the key, right, Megan? Because it's knowing that you can basically heal from anything. You can heal from anything. Like, our bodies are extraordinary. They are even more extraordinary than we can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
But not all of us are magicians, and we can't just magically be able to understand how to control our bodies. And so having all of these different healing modalities is the way that we can take the baby steps to start to understand the capacity of our bodies. And that a lot of it is very basic knowledge. And a lot of it is, it's as we have progressed through society, we pick up a lot of bad habits, and nutrition is a big one, right? People don't realize that I say it's a bit like a car. You got a sports car, it has to have the highest grade of fuel and oil and lubricants, and otherwise it's not going to operate as a sports car, right? So think of our bodies as a sports car. If you just use bad fuel, it's not going to perform at the optimum, right? So, if we can just think of that, I have been very consciously taking more anti-inflammatory nutrition. Every single day, I do not miss taking turmeric and ginger and spinach and, a lot of alkaline green vegetables that really empower my body to fight the inflammation. But my body is no longer naturally, it doesn't naturally have the same healing capacity as it did when I was 20 years old. So I need to give it extra fuel, some extra nutrition to help it on its way, right? So if we understand that and I was saying to you earlier, Megan, I've been monitoring it and I really noticed the difference. I'm like, oh, why are my knees hurting so much today? I'm like, oh, I forgot to take my turmeric tincture this morning, right? It's if we can truly monitor and understand what our bodies need and what we're capable of, if we don't give our body any exercise, guess what? Our muscles are not going. If you don't use it, you lose it, right?
Yes,
you don't use it, you lose it. Alzheimer's, dementia, is a very good example of that. Yep. Our brain cells, they renew every 7 days. But if we're not using them, our body says, oh, okay, well, this person is 70 years old and they're not using these brain cells that we just gave them. So we need to put this energy somewhere else because they're struggling to walk to the washroom, right? So our bodies are highly, highly intelligent and they will do what is necessary with the resources that they've got. So, if our body is being fueled with bad fuel, and we're not using it, we're not using our brain cells because we sit there in front of the TV all day and we don't actually tax our brains, then we lose it. Our friend Jennifer, Megan, is a really good example of that, right? Because she was diagnosed with MS.
Absolutely.
And as I think a lot of people know, with autoimmune diseases, one of the side effects, or one of the what do you call that, prognosis of the effects of autoimmune is that you start to lose your muscle mass, and many people with MS end up in wheelchairs because they're not able to walk. And Jennifer kind of looked at that information and said, well, hang on a minute, so if I'm weight training every day and I'm training my muscles every day, then how can they possibly atrophy if I'm training them every day, right? And so as a result of that, she's 5 years into her MS diagnosis. Her doctors are looking at her brain scans and saying, well, according to this brain scan, you should be in a wheelchair. Well, she's not in a wheelchair. Right now, she's traveling halfway across the globe doing some training in China.
Yeah,
right?
She's in China right now.
Right?
Yeah. The power of our brains is incredible. And when you say no to a label as a diagnosis, that entirely in itself is so important. So important, because that sets your brain into a different trajectory of going to get you something different. Yeah. See, if you are stuck in a diagnosis and you think, okay, well, this pill is all I have. Like, okay, I guess this is my life now, this pill. That's where your life goes. You just stay there. But if your brain is like, no, I want something else. Well, now you've just called in something else, because that's how our brain works. Our brain works with forward-thinking momentum. And I will give this example that I shared before, and it's with using our imagination to get where we want to go. I had a patient, could only lay flat 21 degrees, which is basically flat, for more than 2 weeks. Couldn't sit up at all. She got too dizzy, threw up. It was awful. So I said, okay, review your perfect day. She reviewed her perfect day to me before she went to bed that night. The next morning, she got up and sat up at the side of the bed for 6 minutes at 10 after 7 in the morning. Hadn't even finished shift change report yet. It was incredible. I was like, dude, I just asked her to remind me of her perfect day. And then she sat up. Yeah. Like, okay, so there's your brain. The power of your brain alone. In that moment, I was like, oh, listen, put it into your brain that you want something else, and that's where you will go. Your brain, whatever the powers that be that give us the things that they do, will give us what we need if we put it out there that we want something else. That is entirely how I found everything that I did in my life, including sitting here and founding Julie, because I needed a publisher, and well, now I've got one and a friend, and all.
That's so much more.
So much more. Oh my gosh, unbelievable! It's so wild. It's very cool what we have going on here. I'm so thrilled to be able to offer this and to put the call out there to people who might be willing to share a story of walking a hard path, but a good path that got you where you needed to go, that got you the healing that you wanted to experience. And now how do we give that to other people? Because like myself and you, like we can't just sit here and have this, what? We did this for ourselves, but this isn't still not the current narrative. This is not what people normally do. The current narrative is to go to the doctor to get a pill to fix me. Our intention with this book is to say, like, that may not be the only possibility. What else can you do for yourself?
I'm so excited about this, and we had to just jump on and make this our podcast episode for this week because we want everybody to know about this, but we also want to put the call out. If you're listening to this and you say, oh, yes, I agree with you, I want to share my story, then we want to hear from you. So
yes, please.
Please, we will put in the show notes how to send us your information, how to get involved in this project. But if you have healed yourself through some other modality, we want to know about it. We want your story. So Megan, closing words.
Oh my gosh. Let's go. Onward and upward. I wanted to insert another word in there, but I will keep this PG. And I'm just so thrilled to be able to walk this walk, to know that other people will be experiencing true, honest, perfectly glorious healing in this world. And it's not just about a laundry list of pills. And yes, the narrative is moving away from that. And my intention here is to bring more people along with me away from that. Working in that for 20 years, I have a good perspective on where we can go instead, because that is necessary. And those are things that we need, those beds for people that, you know, we break ourselves, we get in car crashes, we do stupid things, we say, hold my beer and do something dumb. We need Western medicine. However, not everybody needs it. Let's find other ways to heal ourselves. Our brains can start there. We can do all the things. Julie and I've got you. Let's go.
Bro, this is so much fun. I love it. And I love being able to empower other people to heal themselves, because absolutely anything is possible. And I am going to be very excited about also sharing my journey. I'm going into an even deeper journey of being able to truly, truly understand my potential, to truly understand the things that are holding me back, to have the same level of health that I had when I was 25 years old.
Ooh, well, you know what? Once you go through that, I'm going to sign up next when I go to Mexico.
We cannot wait to share all the amazing things that we're discovering by sharing other people's stories and sharing the knowledge of what is out there. So keep listening to the show, keep contributing to the show, keep telling us your story, and we'll see you next week for Your Story is Your Portal. Thanks, Megan.
Thanks so much for having me, Jill. We'll see you again.
Okay, bye for now. Thank you for walking through today's portal. I invite you to subscribe, share, and join me inside the House of Story Medicine for deeper journeys, book mentorship, and soul story retreats in Mexico. Because your voice matters.
I'm Michelle Abraham, founder of the High Vibe Podcast Network, and we're honored to have Julianne's show, Your Story is Your Portal, as part of our network family. For more inspiring shows like this one, visit highvibepodcastnetwork.com, and don't forget to grab your free gifts from our hosts in the gift vault. Stay high vibe and keep sharing your life.